Hello there. My name is Mike Ryder. I am a solutions architect here at N2WS. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to integrate any secondary Azure subscriptions into an existing CPM or N2WS server. So that means the servers already exist. And this is just going to be additional subscriptions that you need to integrate in order to back up resources. So first thing we want to do is pinpoint which subscription that we want to use. I'm going to use Azure Tutorial here. Okay. And we're going to need this subscription ID, okay, for the next step. So you can either copy it off now, or you don't just necessarily have to, but I'm going to leave it because I have another tab open here. So we just need to, note that down. So the first step is to create an IAM role. So I'm going to come over here, open my subscription, open up IAM. We're going to add a new custom role. Okay, so we already have pre-configured JSON templates that you can download right from this page here. So this is in our knowledge base library. So you can access our KB library, and then just look for Azure permissions. And then you're going to download this attachment right here. And that's going to download a zip file that contains a few different JSON files, depending on which license tier you're currently using. So when you download this, you'll extract it, and then you'll come back here. And I'm not going to put a role name now. Like I said, it's already pre-configured, so it's going to automatically populate the name. So I'm just going to go click on Start from JSON, and then I'm going to browse. And then it goes right here. So these are the different JSON files. So if you're using an advanced license, an enterprise license, standard license, that's what you're going to choose. I'm going to choose enterprise, and you'll see it populated, and then this automatically populated as well because it's already in there. Now you can keep this name. That's perfectly fine. You can change it if you'd like. But if you go down to next, the permissions are already there. Don't worry about this right now. We're going to change that in the JSON template. We're going to come over here. So you'll see the role name. So that's already pre-configured. That's what populated the name over here. And then you're going to see subscription ID. See, I already have a role that uses this name, so I can't use it again. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to basics, and I'm just going to put a 2 just to differentiate it. You can name it whatever you want, or just it's easier just to keep it. But once you do this, it should automatically change it in the JSON code anyway. So that's completely up to you. Now what we need is that subscription ID. So I'm going to come back here. Here's my subscription ID. I'm going to copy this. And oh, I got to click at it. All right, try this again. All right, so there's my subscription ID, and I'm just going to save that. Okay, so then next, here's all my permissions, and then I'm going to create this role. Let's try 3. Okay. Perfect. So now we can come to roles. So here's the one that said it already exists. That's already in use for something else. So, so we're going to use this one. So we can verify that it's there. So now what we need to do is register the app. So I'm going to come back to home. we're going to select app registrations. And then it may not show up here for you. You can just do a search for it here, but I'm going to select it from here. Okay, so now I'm going to select new registration, and then we're going to give it a name here. So I'm just going to use Azure tutorial. And then we're going to keep everything here as it is, right? So we're just going to use this organizational directory only, and then single tenant, and then register. Okay, so now it's going to give you all this information here. So we're going to need some of these IDs. So the two that we're going to need here is going to be the application or client ID, this one here, and then the directory tenant ID. So you can copy those off, now into a notepad or whatever you prefer. And then now what we're also going to need is a secret. So we're going to come over here to client credentials, and we're going to add a certificate or secret. And we're going to click add new client secret. And then you can put in, in a description if you'd like. I'm just going to put in N2WS, and then how long you want the secret to expire. So I'm just going to keep it on the default 6 months and then add. So the value that we need here, well, you're going to get a value and you're going to get an ID. We do not need the ID. We need the value. Okay, so that's what we need in order to integrate it into the CPM console. So I'm going to leave this open just so it's there and ready to go. And I'm going to come back to my other tab. And now what we need to do is create a role assignment for this app. So we're going to come to IAM. We're going to add a role assignment. So we'll search for the role, N2WS, number 3. Next. We're going to keep it on user group or service principal. We're going to select a member, and we're going to search for that app that we just created. So there's our Azure tutorial. We're going to select this. And then next. So no conditions needed. And then ready to go, review and assign. Okay, you can see that it was assigned. So perfect. So now, after this is done, we need to populate it into the CPM console. So we're going to log into CPM and come to the account section here. And we're going to click on new Azure account. And pardon my pre-population. Okay. So we'll give it a name. So I'll just, just so you know, because this is a friendly name, so it could be whatever you, to identify which subscription. So I'm going to do Azure tutorial. So this is where we're going to copy in those IDs, right? And here's the client secret. So I already have the client secret open, which is the value. So I'm just going to click copy and copy this into the client secret. And then I'm going to go back 1. So now we need the application ID. So I'm going to copy that. Come back here. Here's the application ID field. And then the tenant ID. So we're going to copy this, come back here, and input that. And you don't necessarily need to use this. I mean, you can check it, but if you don't select any resource types, it's going to scan for everything. And then we're just going to save it. So now we have that integrated in our CPM console. So we can do a permissions check. So we'll just put a check next to here, check account permissions. There we go. All permissions granted for our Azure subscription. So then you could start creating policies. So if I want to come over here, new Azure policy. So here's my new account, Azure tutorial. And then I'm going to come to backup targets, add backup targets. So virtual machines. So here's my location. Here's my virtual machine that I want to back up, or obviously multiple resources, and then add it and start building out your policies. So that's it. Very easy. I hope this was helpful. And as always, thank you for using N2WS.